Okay, so I just wanted to make a quick video discussing some of the recent developments in Bond 26 news. I know I haven't really done a lot of Bond-related stuff on this channel yet, but that's coming. But I want to give my 2 cents on this because it's been a big point of contention on the internet I've seen over the past few days, and I think that's not really warranted, personally, but let's get into it. So this all sparked from a Deadline article. Barbara Broccoli was interviewed, the producer, one of the producers of the Bond films, and she said that the next film is at least 2 years away from filming. And a lot of people read this and sort of freaked out and were like, that's so far away. But to me, considering their track record, that seems like kind of a low ball. I mean, obviously the huge amount of time between Spectre and No Time to Die, but there was a whole bunch of problems involved in that, but it seems like they like to take things slow. But when you think about it, when they had Craig introduced as Bond, they did all that, and they lost Brosnan, they fired Brosnan technically, had a new script, new director, and a new movie out in 4 years, and I don't think we're going to have that again, even though I don't think that the producers necessarily have lost their ambition to continue the series, because I think they're still very passionate about it, but I think this is a point of crossroads that the franchise has never reached. They've never, spoiler alert, they've never killed Bond before, so the fact that they're now starting fresh, they've started fresh a few times throughout the series, and then really with Craig, but this is a whole new start, a new type of starting fresh. They have to reintroduce the character, but hopefully we don't get another reboot. Rather another origin story. Of course we're getting a reboot, but an origin story would just feel little, considering we just had that with Craig, even though Craig's era was huge, was very long. I would rather we didn't get an origin story, but I don't know. They have to figure out how to reinvent the character. That was another point of debate about Barbara Broccoli's comment. She said that the reason it's going to take so long for the next film to come out, or at least a little bit longer than people would probably like, is because they have to figure out a new direction for the series. They're going to reinvent the character, and a lot of people were freaked out about that. But look, they've reinvented the character many times. That doesn't mean they're going to totally change who Bond is. Barbara Broccoli has been very adamant about keeping Bond and true to Fleming to some degree. They're not going to completely change the character. But reinvention, they mean they have to change the sort of tone and the vibe of the films, not necessarily the character as a whole. And I think a lot of people freaked out about that, and it's not necessary. Barbara Broccoli knows that fans don't want that. True Bond fans want Bond to be Bond, and we're going to keep getting Bond as Bond. I think you don't need to worry about that. But as far as the 2 year away thing, they have to get a script together first and a new idea of the direction they want to go, right? That's going to take some time. That's before they even figure out who the next actor is going to be. I know she said while doing press for No Time to Die that they'd be looking for the next actor this year. I don't think that's going to happen. And we're definitely not getting an announcement of the next actor on James Bond Day this year. I'm sorry, but that's definitely not happening. But I think probably next year. They'll probably get pretty far along with the script this year, figure out the direction they're going to go, and then they have to hire a director, and then they'll start scouting, doing the casting, the screen test and everything, and then they'll have the next actor probably end of next year, and we'll start filming in 2024. I think that's probably the best case scenario, honestly. And I think they're really keen to take their time. I wish that wasn't the case. I wish we had a Bond film every 2 years like was happening in the first 20 years of the series, but that's just not going to happen anymore because they just don't want that. And there's a lot of stuff, it's a lot more complicated making movies these days, so they claim. I'm not in Hollywood, so I don't know. But I would love to see a Bond film more frequently. And the whole thing with No Time to Die, I think a lot of people think that, unfortunately, said the wait wasn't necessarily worth it. I love the movie personally, but hopefully we don't wait a huge lifetime for another. As far as I'm concerned, they never missed with the introduction of Bond actors, so I think hopefully they'll keep that up. But then again, it depends on the direction that they go. So I don't know, there's just no way to tell what's going to happen. I think it's an exciting time to be a Bond fan. It's the 60th anniversary. We're going to keep doing, we've done one review so far, but we're going to keep doing reviews for all the films, try to get them all done this year. Just keep the hype going, because the franchise is going to be a little bit of a lull for a little bit. I think we're just going to have to suck it up. And then Bond will be back in a big way. I think it's going to be very exciting in the next couple of years, but for the time being, we're just going to have to lay low. Barbara Broccoli is saying, it's going to take some time, so I think we just accept that and go about our way, and Bond will be back. James Bond will return. But as far as these comments go, like I said, there's no reason to worry. The reinvention thing, people were taking that a little bit too far. It's not going to be a huge change of the character as a whole. It's just going to be a slightly new lens, I would say. And the length of time that it's going to be doesn't surprise me. I was expecting it to be longer, honestly, so I'm happy. I know some people were hoping to maybe get a film next year. I think that was just ludicrous. Though I would love it, but it's not going to happen. So we're just going to have to hunker down and wait and see what happens. But until then, every day, maybe we'll get closer and closer to the next Bond film and just hunker down and see what happens. But thanks for watching.